It's Monday. This is when spirituality, this is the thinking class. When spirituality and the game combines, you got the thinking class. And if you don't get it, it's your own fault. We're about to get live right now. It's Monday. Shout out to everybody that's listening. We're ready to go. We're ready to crank this up. It's Monday. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Let's get it rolling. Like that intro? Appreciate that. The thinking class is ready to go. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the what? Thinking class. Today we're talking about grace in the game. This week we're talking about grace in the game. Let's get it going. How are you this Monday? Let's get it going. LGA's in the building. We prepping up. We in the corners. We ready to go. Let's get this going. Grace in the game. So many definitions of the word grace. So many definitions of the word grace. How does grace apply to the game? We got to realize that it's important to have grace in the game. But many times, let me not say that to everybody get into the chat room to show some love to everyone that's here. This is Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go. I'm in the building. Let's go. Let's get it. It is definitely Monday. Let's let the beat drop. Come on, we gonna get it. It's Monday. Come on, how you doing out there? Come on, it's Monday. Waiting for the beat to drop. Come on, let's go. Lawrence D. Adams in the place. With spirituality and the game combines, you have the what? Thinking class. Those who think, but also move there. Let's get it going. It's Monday. Let's get it going. Let's get it. Come on. Let's get this game going today. Definitely ready today. Grace in the game. How do you mix game and grace at the same time? How do you mix game and grace? What's going on, my brother? Monday. What's going on, EC Dub? What's going on, bro? How do you mix game and grace at the same time? How do you mix those two elements? The diabolically should not be in the same sentence. Grace and game. How the Monday? Money day. It's money day. Let's get there. Like that intro. Appreciate that. Shout out to my brother right there. EC Dub, what's going on? Great comedian. Lots of skits, showing some love. Great guy right there. But how do you mix the game and how do you mix it together? How y'all doing out there? How y'all feeling? How you doing out there? Let's get it going. Let me drop the beat a little bit down. And you actually know this is the original track right here. Can be duplicated. It's a original track right here. So let's get it going. Well, this is my Monday. I've been up like since 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, I've been up mulling over. How do I even pull these two words together in one sentence? Grace and game. How do I pull these two diabolically opposing words, game and grace, together? You know what I mean? How do I even pull these two together, man? How do I do that? So I've been mulling over this weekend, talking, going within, figuring out how do you put these two together, grace and game. What's going on all the way from North Carolina? Thank you so much for my jerk chicken on Friday. Man, that chicken was good. When I got it, I said, I got to post it. Thank you, Tara, for that chicken. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting and getting that jerk chicken for Friday. I went immediately up the street and got that jerk chicken. It was good. What I mean good, it was good. So we're going to see where we're going to go this week. I got another spot I'm going to try. One of my buddies, her and her husband has a sell jerk chicken. But shout out for the jerk chicken. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love. The double G, grace and game. That's right. So how do you mix grace and game? You know, when you think about game, you think about somebody out in the street pimping some pros, and you think about how does grace and game pull together? But when you really think about it, they go together. They go together when you think about it. Let me drop this beat right here because it's pull it back right quick. So yeah. So when you think about it, grace and game, I've been really toying with it just this weekend, thinking about it. So I thought about it. We talk about game over here. We're talking about what? Strategies. We're not talking about manipulation and all like that. We're not talking like that. We're talking about game. When you either in the relationship, when you're in the business deal, when you maneuver whatever part of life that you're maneuvering in, you got to have some kind of level of game. And if we were to really break down game is understanding human psychology. Let me say that again. Game is just simply understanding human psychology, female nature and masculine and male nature, or masculine nature and feminine nature. That is what we define. What is when we get down to game, real essence of game. So how does grace drop down, the double G's, grace in the game? How does it drop down in all of this? First, we have to define what is grace. There's so many definitions of grace that's out there. So I'm going to give one. Grace can be defined as unmerited divine assistance given to human for their regeneration or sanctification, virtue coming from God. It can also mean mercy, pardon, approval, or favor. It can mean charm, attractive traits, characteristics, a pleasant appearance or effect. Or you can easily name someone grace, somebody you know, they have a lot of grace. So how do we apply this grace down, elegance? So when we look at grace, let's break it down right quick when it comes to the game. We know when we talk about over here, game doesn't start on the outside when you deal with everybody else. Game starts when you deal with you as an individual. Let me say that again. Game starts with you. It starts with nobody else, not your mama, not your sister, not your wife, not your husband, not your brother, not your sister, none of them. Game starts with you. The game you run must be run on you first before it's run on anybody else. So when it comes to grace, this is what we need to do. Grace has several definitions. The first, as we enter into this, the first person that you need to extend grace to is yourself. The first person that you need to extend grace to, favor or pardon or mercy to is yourself. Most people don't understand. They're always extending pardon or grace to everyone else, but they have not effectively extended grace to themselves. Why do you say that? How does this apply to the game? Because if you can't extend grace to yourself, how the hell are you going to extend grace to anyone else? Grace starts within, not something that you ask for. It's something that you extend first to yourself. We must first go within. So the measure or the amount of grace that you extend yourself is the amount of grace that you can extend someone else. The amount of grace that you extend yourself. So you can work both sides of this definition with grace. So you can say grace as an elegance, regal. Yeah, but if you don't have grace for yourself, how are you going to walk in that definition of elegance and regal and revere and all like that if you don't have grace for yourself? Most people do not have grace for themselves because of this one thing, which is what I wanted to get to. This word. And this word is something that most people don't want to talk about. This word is what most people don't want to talk about when it comes to grace in the game. Why people don't have grace for themselves is because they have shame. Let me say that again. Most people don't extend grace to them, to their own selves, is because they have on some level subconsciously a level of shame around themselves, around their body, around their money, around what you're doing. And they have to learn how to deal with the shame. And then so they can change their name and get under this grace so they can walk in the game. You have to you have not learned to deal with it. You have to confront the shame that you have about you. You cannot be effective in the game. You cannot execute grace towards yourself or to someone else until you deal with the shame inside of you. What's going on, John?
What's going on?
What's going on? So I'm just breaking down. There's so many definitions of grace that we can tackle. And we talk about grace. The first step is you got to extend grace to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't extend grace to yourself until you deal with this one thing. And I mean, I've been mulling over this all weekend, man, all weekend. You can't extend grace to yourself if you have shame.
Wow. I mean, that actually is a pretty good analogy. I'd say shame is when you look at yourself in a negative way, right?
Come on.
Shame is when you have decided almost on defeat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Grace, and we gotta. There's like many avenues to go when it comes to grace, but grace is more like confidence. Okay, grace is more like humbleness and calmness and confidence at the same time. And what we kind of do is shame will take your power away, and grace will let you utilize the power you have without showing off, which is what we got to really kind of do. Because anytime you hear the word game, you think you got to have all this extra confidence and so you can convince the girl to do this and all this other stuff. But grace means you're comfortable in your confidence. And grace is also more like you have the establishment of notoriety. You got your seniority and your notoriety already established. Nobody has to give it to you. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to ask for respect. When I walk into some of the places that I am familiar with, like I told you, drinks already being poured. People call me out by my name. Room is being made. They know what seat I sit at. It's like that's grace in the situation. I have grace, meaning I have permission. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they look at that and they're like, they get ashamed or they get jealous or they get envious because they don't know how I earned it. They don't know how I earned it. They don't know that there's a price to pay for that, whether it was money, whether it was conversations with every one of those people, whether it was getting situations resolved because I had, a better, I took the high road in certain places and they respect that. Like you have to build that over time. Imagine a room full of people that know you, for them all to have an impact on you individually. That's grace. It's built on the grace you have with them. In the religious world, the reason why the bishop is called his grace is because of what leniency he's let himself have with you. He's allowed you to make your mistakes. He's allowed you, if he's a mentor, if he's a confidant, a spiritual father, he's had grace. He's been very patient with you. That's why he's called his grace. So what you have to understand about grace is that it's your patience that you're emitting on people. Not just your humility, not just what you feel was basically what you think is correct. You are actually showing people, giving people a chance to get it right. That's what grace in the game is.
All right. And it has to start within. If you don't extend that grace to yourself, it's gonna be doggone hard to extend grace to someone else.
Grace is not an identity. Grace is your ability to cooperate. Grace is your ability to cooperate with people. Grace is your ability to say, I'm going to look beyond my actual perimeter and I'm going to let you have a chance. Because I know in my own confidence that we both can exist.
Yeah.
That's the grace in the game. I can come on this channel and I can exist. You can still be the exact same entity you are, and I'm not taking anything away from your perimeter. You're not taking anything away from mine. That's the grace that two, let's say, members of the game can do.
And that's there right there. That's why I brought up the word shame. Because a lot of people, when it comes to the game and dropping in grace in there, they have shame about they don't even know it, man. I really thought about this. They don't even know that they have a level of shame around relationships working, around money, around different situations in their lives. And they wonder why the game is not working. It's because they have not dropped down or extended grace to themselves so that it can work for them.
Well, that's the thing. See, shame is a blocker.
Yeah.
Shame is not a door opener.
No.
Okay. When you extend grace to something, like I said, you're giving something. You're giving something a chance, right?
Yeah.
You can't give something a chance that you are blocking.
Yeah.
And if you have shame for something, you want to get away from it. You want to stop it from existing.
There it is.
And how could you extend your generosity or give something a chance to something you're trying to get away from?
Come on. We would take the whole thing with relationships. People say with their mouth they want a relationship, but secretly they have shame around a relationship, and they wonder why it's not working.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you were shameful of something, you want to tuck it away. You know, you want to put that as far in the back of your memory as possible. You don't sit there thinking, "Wow, that shameful act. I'm gonna try and learn from it today." No, if you feel shame, you want it gone.
Right.
You're your own publicist. You want to say, "I want this wiped from the record."
Yeah.
Now, if you saw it as a test and not shameful, then you would reach it and look at it more objectively. But because you felt shame from it, shame means I run from it.
Run.
So let's say it together. If you feel shame from it, then you run from it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And
now, if you felt it was a test in your life, then you can reapproach it objectively and say, what can I learn from this?
Versus, what can I run away from this? And the reason why I'm bringing up the shame part is because shame doesn't give you relationship with money, relationships, moving to the next level. You're ashamed that if you go to the next level, guess what's going to happen? I don't know. You fight your own. You have an internal war inside of you.
Some of you have not earned any grace, and grace is the ability to give, right? Didn't I say that? Yeah. Grace is the ability to give, whether you're giving a chance, whether you're giving somebody some knowledge. Grace is basically lending, okay? You're lending out the ability to do something more than you should have to do to get something done. That's grace, okay? I'm giving y'all several examples of how it works. But if you're stuck in shame, some people won't even find it valuable enough to put an investment in grace on you because you haven't gotten out of yourself yet.
Whoa. We got to rewind that one. That right there, shout out to Joe Blast, shout out to Evil Rebirth, shout out to everybody that's watching. That statement right there need to be rewind. Let me rewind that. You said if you have a level of shame around you, right? People would not extend to you grace because of the shame that you have around yourself. What's up, these nuts? Y'all need to let that soak in, man. Right there, we can cut the class right there and just walk away. Bye. See y'all later. Go get some more jerk chicken. It's open up at 12 o'clock.
That's true. It's true. We make big mistakes by trying to look humble in our own shame. When people are really looking to see how you learned from your mistakes. I'll give you an example. How many people walk around, oh man, I spent all my money over the weekend. I had a real rough weekend, and I was, I had like $200 and I spent $180 on partying. Can I get $100? And you look at them like, wait a minute, wasted all your money and I'm supposed to pay you back? Like I'm supposed to pay you the difference for you to survive? Now think about it. Let's go back now. What if you said, oh, well, I had a rough weekend. Say it in confidence. I had a rough weekend. I know not to ever do this again. I've learned from my lesson. And if you show yourself at least humble to the problem, somebody might give you $20. You ain't going to get $100.
No, they ain't get $100, no.
Somebody might give you $20, say, yo, man, get through today, man. Peace. I mean, you might have to go to a few people. You'll get that $100. But if you tell people your sad story and expect them to support you, you ain't going to get it. You look shameful in the game, okay? And why should I extend any grace to you when you look shameful?
Come on, man. Dude, when somebody looks shameful, think about it. When you look shameful in the game, be honest with you. Know what you want to do? You want to put your Timbs on, lace them up, and kick them in the butt and say, get the hell out of my face.
It's true.
You don't want to deal with them.
You ain't in the game.
Yeah.
You ain't in the game no more, okay? Only shout out to anybody in their particular financial situation, but I would say only homeless people know how to pull that off.
Yeah.
They know that they have to go to a lot of people with the same story to get a little bit, okay? And then pull it all in for one collective thought, which would be maybe if they wanted $100, they know they got to ask for $1 to 100 people, okay? Because they look shameful in their game, okay? And that's what happens. When you make yourself look shameful, you will have to do 100 times more effort than it would take to literally pull off somebody who you can close in one conversation and get twice what you were looking for.
Dude, it's that piece right there, man. Right there, we need to let that soak in.
You can't make this up.
We gotta, if this is resonating with you, let us know in the chat room right now. Let us know in the chat room if this is resonating with you right now, because what happens is, I done seen a lot of people in the game, relationship, business, church, whatever it may be. But when they, like you said, when they come from a place of shame and not grace, they wonder why things never, ever works out for them. I've watched it too many times, man.
Look for the people who are over repetitive. If you have a person in your life that's over repetitive, they will say something to you and you done heard it before. They will talk to somebody else that you know and give them the exact same story, but have a slight spin on the relationship they have with that person. Get away from these people in life. You know why? Those are beggars. Those are beggars, and they're shameful.
There it is.
It's in their life, so that's why they repeat it so often, because they get little victories off of that.
There it is.
I had a friend in North Carolina. I'm talking about a childhood friend, and this woman would call me up for a half an hour spiel, trying to get me to Western Union her $25, and I'm sitting there like, baby girl, it costs like $5.99 or something like that, or like $6 to send $25. I said, you're wasting my money to send you a little bit of money. Well, send me $50 then. It's like you don't even respect the fact that this is before Cash App. This is before, all that other stuff. This is before it was easy to send money. Western Union's probably going out of business now because of all the darn little, payment apps now. But the point is, you would spend a whole lot of time on a little bit of money. That's somebody who's shameful because you don't even value your own time. This person is spending, they know they got a list of people they can go to get this little bit of money. They're going to waste all their time. They can spend 8 hours trying to get $200 when if you just work your regular job, you get that money.
Yeah.
If you just put your head in the game and get what you deserve, you can get that money. You don't even think that you can get what you deserve when you spend all your time telling people your shameful story.
And you looking for grace. Negro, please.
Grace will never be lent to you because you haven't proven you've learned. If you proved you learned, people will have grace and forgiveness, and they will lend to you knowing that you're new. Okay? Mm-hmm. Have you renewed yourself?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't renewed yourself, then you haven't put yourself in a position for grace to set in. Okay? Grace is not for you. Grace is given to you. Okay? It's like it's a gift. It's not a privilege. Okay? Because everything else can be attained through your hard work. Grace is when somebody recognizes, it's like, I've done all I can. Mm-hmm. Now give me the grace for me to get what I don't have and what I have not actually gotten to the level of, because the game is going to teach me something once I get there.
That's it, dude. And it happens so much in relationships too, John, So many people have shame around relationships, and they're expecting the other person to extend them grace, whether that man or that woman. When you wallowing in shame and pity, dude, we hear the stories on YouTube. We hear the stories on YouTube all the time. Oh, she did this, she did that. Just shame, I feel bad. I ain't no good. I ain't making $40,000 or 50. Shame.
Sometimes we shame people that have been giving us grace. How
about
that?
Whoa. Yeah.
We shame people thinking, oh, they're just passive. Oh, they're just, inactive. They don't know how to run game to the point where I would know I'm happy because this person could really push and get me into the game the way I want to be into the game. Some people need that external or extroverted push, and they're looking for it from a person they've been shaming. Why would a person who you've been shaming ever feel like they could ever get you in their game?
Whoa. We need to sit that right there.
They're already moving on, especially if they're inactive and they used to be active. Imagine a person that used to bring you the flowers. Imagine the person that used to call and text you first. Imagine the person that used to talk about scheduling date night and what time and what, hey, look like this because we're gonna kill this whole scene when we get there. Imagine that person all of a sudden shuts everything down and they're not communicating, they're not participating no more. Maybe you caused a level of shame in them. Maybe you didn't appreciate what they were doing and you pushed a spirit of shame into the whole relationship, and now you done killed the whole vibe.
Whoa. That is man, dude, man. This only one on 102, man. We can shut it down right here.
If you had grace in the game, you would have known not to pull a stunt like that, because you could literally render your partner inactive.
And that's what a lot of people have done.
If you had grace in the game, you wouldn't complain when you weren't just satisfied. Maybe you could encourage the person to do what you like without shaming them. I mean, I'm talking to somebody right now.
Oh, yeah.
Some of you feel the inadvertent need to shame somebody and think that that's grace. Oh, I'm brutally honest. I could tell you something because you know I'm an honest person and you rather hear the truth. Yes, people want to hear the truth. There's a big difference between the raw truth and the truth that's deciphered in a language they can understand. And unfortunately, instead of having some darn grace and figuring out that you could lend this person a friendly ear and a friendly voice to the situation, no, you shamed them. You shamed them into thinking they are no good. You shamed them into thinking that they don't even belong for you. You shamed them into thinking that they are the wrong part of your life. And now, guess what? They just won't participate. They're waiting for you to kick them out. They're waiting for you to end it. They're waiting for you to move on. Or they've already moved on in their mind. And then guess what? They're already replacing you.
So that's a good question. Who have you shamed that you should have been showing grace to? And what happens is we have a whole community of people, male and female. I responded on somebody's Instagram where this group is shaming that group and that group is shaming this group, but secretly they want each other, but they won't extend grace to them, to each other, to one another, so that it can be effective in the game. Who are you shaming? Are you men? Are you shaming the women? Women, are you shaming the men? When
Listen,
actually,
I know for a fact that men and women are completely different.
Yeah.
You women are literally a combination lock, okay? If you don't know all the right ways to, turn the lock and, put this in the right place, and it's like a puzzle, okay? If you don't instruct what you want, guess what? You won't get what you want, okay? It don't have to be romper room, right? But what it has to be is a combination of what you say and what you do. And if you have not done those two things, a person is not going to understand exactly what you want. Now they can guess. They can pull it off. Now some people don't know what they want, so they just wait for the person to come at them. And when they're not satisfied, they say, that wasn't what I wanted. I don't know why you didn't figure out by osmosis why I wanted. And guess what? That it's over. And I'm going to shame you now because you haven't figured out by the psychic network here how to get what you want. And guys are the same way. Only guys are so simple sometimes. Guys want simple things, okay? They want peace. They want, what I would say is a calmness about the situation where they feel that they have some control. They want simple actions. They want simple gestures. So they feel like any woman can figure this out. So guess what? If she don't do it, I'm shaming her. Because she should have learned from her daddy. She should have learned from her mother. She should have learned from her family. She should have learned from her past relationships. But guess what? You're not communicating either. You're not emitting grace in the game. And you're shaming the person and making them feel inferior because of what you don't know how to do, which is communicate.
That's it right there. That's, man, you encapsulated that perfectly on both sides. So we don't extend grace to the people that we need to extend grace to. This be we're honest about that. Especially with dudes, we need to communicate. This is what I want, and as a leader, you should be guiding and leading her in the direction that you want both of you guys to go in. So you got to extend grace so that your game within that relationship works.
Imagine if you both had the ability to emit grace, which means the understanding, right? The understanding of what level of communication a person needs in order to get the job done. If you both did that, it would last a lot longer because we would not have to go to our defenses when we're shamed.
Mm-hmm.
Every time somebody tries to shame you, the first thing you do is you put up your blockers, you put up your defenses, and guess what? You're not going to get progress out of that person. What you're going to get is a person in the defensives. They're going to have an attitude. They're going to have an edge on their shoulder, a chip on their shoulder. There's going to be a bunch of things they're going to do to just duck and dodge the situation. And some people like to watch people squirm like that. Okay? And if you're one of those people that like to watch people squirm because you think you caught them in a lie, or if you like to watch people squirm and duck because you caught them off the guard, you caught them off their game, then guess what? Shame on you. Because a person who gets shamed in the game, they have a harder road back, and they're going to resent you for it later.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to wish they never dealt with you.
Yeah.
They're going to wish that you should have been more charismatic and had more grace to handle the situation better.
Yeah.
If you've ever embarrassed one of your friends in front of one of your other friends,
it's worse.
You shamed them. You didn't have grace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you took the time to get your point across and you didn't consider the feelings of someone else, you shamed them. You did not have grace. It's going to come back on you. You know why? Because when it comes time for somebody to have that same level of grace to you, they're going to pick the word shame.
It's like, women, do I take shame or do I take grace?
If I embarrassed you, LDA, on this channel right now, you would literally wait till I had my own channel up. And you'd literally have a whole bag in your hand, ready to, an arsenal of stuff to throw back at me. Oh, remember this. You didn't get this right, and you didn't get this right, and you didn't get this right. It'll be a whole thing, and you do it publicly on streaming just to pay you back. Mm-hmm. But if we didn't handle the way we built this with grace,
come on,
we wouldn't have such a good report after a year.
Yeah. After a year.
See what I'm saying?
Right. And this, doing your message is right on point. You know why? Because a lot of content creators don't know how to extend each other grace.
That's the whole point.
This is some stuff going on right now. I know you've seen it, but I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say the names of the content creators. But I will say this: we need to learn how to extend grace to each other.
We have a big problem of not showing the fact that we understand what's wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why we always start with shame. Starting with shame means you don't understand because you don't know how to use grace to save the relationship and make them understand at the same time. You see what I'm saying? If you don't actually take the time to find out what's really going on, you know, some people are caught up in their feelings. Some people are caught up against the wall. They're painted into a corner. And then they're using their defense system. All you have to do is come back and use grace and say, listen, man, let's have a conversation about this. You know, it can be very simply solved. We've worked together in the past. Why can't we be cooperative in the future? But when you go to a defensive line, you're going behind the demilitarized zone. You're going back into the far country. You're putting yourself in a place where you cannot be reached. People get into the mode of shaming each other. Dude, there is no cooperation. There is no grace at that point.
No, and that is the issue right now. We have so popularized and capitalized on shaming each other that it made the game ineffective because you're not really in the game. Dude, the amount of people that shame women, that shame other content creators, or shame this one and shame that one and shame this one and shame. What happens is we cause a cycle that many times, like you said earlier, it will eat your butt up alive. I've seen it. I've been doing this since 2009, longer than that, really.
Some people don't even understand the rules of the game. And here's the thing. I see your comment, these nuts, about the copyright strikes. And we could talk about that directly. Listen, some of y'all don't even understand how to literally enforce a copyright strike. And now penance is coming upon you. The bigger, larger channels that have an ability to just do some research and collaborate with other content creators, they are now getting the rule book down, and you're looking like a fool.
You can't make this up.
You're looking like a fool because of it. And you should have had more grace in the situation to ask why somebody's actions were done. Instead, you just foolhardily shamed the people thinking you were correct. And we could tell you didn't even do your own research. So you look stupid right now.
I promise you. And this was, dude, we talked about this. This was going to happen Friday, and everything blew up Friday beyond.
It got even worse. I saw some stuff Saturday night. I was like, what is going on?
That's why we have to learn how to.
You got alliances I ain't never seen before. People going on other people's channels. I ain't never seen that before. Look what you started. You could have had all those people on your channel if you just didn't keep your mouth shut. Those people were on your channel. You can keep your mouth shut.
These nuts put it just right. No integrity in the game.
You can't make this up.
Dude, you cannot.
You can't make this up.
That's why you.
Let's
keep stuck. Yeah, dude. That's why it's so important we get behind the scenes. Grace is not something that we take lightly, but I said this from day one, John. You got issues with anyone, you always go behind the scenes and you do what? Talk it out like men.
Listen, grace means you have skill. Okay? Grace means you have intelligence. Grace means you know how to move when other people move, and you can watch them and you can almost smirk and smile. Now, if I want to help this person, I can help them. But if I don't want to help them, I'm going to let them fall. Okay? I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's grace.
Yeah. And I was going to say this, but I was going to wait till next week, but further in the week. You got to know when to extend grace. Sometimes it's not expedient for you to extend grace to somebody because they need to be in that place of learning that aspect of the game.
It's a skill. Mm-hmm. It's a skill. Emitting grace is a skill. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you have to understand that you know what the result's going to be like. If you can't forecast and you shouldn't never just give anything in the game. You need to understand strategically how it can be applied for you so you can benefit and the other person gets the benefit as well. If you don't know how that works, then you shouldn't even try to be using grace in the game.
No, you shouldn't at all. Because what happened is you would think you're extending grace and you actually be to your own demise.
Yeah, you literally look like you don't know what you're doing.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm thinking about the situation. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why you have to be careful shaming. See, sometimes people miss the simple part of the game. You reap what you sow. Plain and simple. You put it out there, doggone it, it's going to come back to you. You cannot reap, you cannot extend, you cannot do this and it not come back to you. That's part of the game. I know people say, I don't believe in karma, and that's not true. Dude, you don't understand the game then.
Let me tell you something. The circular return is real. What you put out that's good will come back to you good multiplied. Yeah. What you put out that's bad, we never talk about the circular return when it comes to negativity. We never talk about it, but it exists, okay? Mm-hmm. There's balance in this universe. There's balance everywhere. Mm-hmm. If you put out something bad and it did not have a purpose that was for the greater good, it will come back to you multiplied. I promise you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to sow hit money. That's something bad that will have a conclusion that ultimately settle the whole situation. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that you're putting something out there that you know is bad, that you know is going to grow and fester like we talked about last week, It's going to grow and fester, and then you don't have no responsibility level to it. Guess what? The universe will put responsibility for it on you and multiply it multiple times for you because you did not do something responsible in the game.
Dude, they then come on. They don't even get this. They don't get this part of it. It's always going to be a circular return on that. Your intentions will meet you at the door. They will show up. Whatever you're giving out, you will get back. And what happens is, like you said, so to hit money, you would just that's grace right there coming in.
Let me tell you something. You really think we sit here and try to be a nice guy all the time? We want you to do all the nice things and sound like angels on the radio on the station here. Listen, on this channel, the reason why we're telling you to do that is we're trying to get you to stop wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
You put bad things out, bad things come back. That's a waste of your time. You might as well do what's right so that right things come towards you. I know for a fact that every time I get on the phone, I'm looking for a return, whether the person's paying me, whether the person's going to tell somebody else about me, whether I'm going to use the affiliate situation to gain other relationships. It's always the goal. I'm always trying to help. Even if something comes back to me bad, it only comes back to me to teach me.
Yeah.
It's never to break somebody else down on the other line, and then all of a sudden breakdown in communication comes toward me later. You should always be a mode of giving good things out, because when you do bad things, all that happens is this bad stuff just comes right back to you.
It happened. And you know what? The funniest thing? I've seen it in the past. It comes in the most, I can hear my mother say it comes in the most inconvenient time.
Exactly. you be sitting there. Let's take it from the standpoint of money. You be sitting there wasting your time on the phone, figuring out not making no money when your purpose is to generate. You're supposed to be generating, okay? 90% of my phone calls are generating, okay? Only time I'm not generating is when I'm talking to my mama. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You wasted all that time. You walk outside, and then you get the flat tire that day. Now you wasted all your time not making money, and you didn't have flat tire money. Can you imagine that? Yeah. There's people walking around right now, and I'm not saying that. I'm not shaming nobody's economic status. But think about this. 75% of y'all have a car, but 50% of y'all don't have flat tire money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. You know why? Because you're spending your time inefficiently. You're gossiping, you're Instagramming, you're Facebooking, you're Snapchatting, and you're not generating. And you need to get to that point where a flat tire is nothing, okay? You shouldn't have to pay 21% interest on your credit card, which is there to bail you out. You should be able to pay for an emergency with cash. You want to hear some grace in the game? Learn to pay emergencies in cash. Mm-hmm. And the things you want can be interest-bearing because you chose them. Mm-hmm. That's grace in the game.
Yeah, that's grace in the game. Y'all better, dude, man, we can stop. We can just put this on rewind for the rest of the week.
If I want to pay 21% for a Louis Vuitton bag, that's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to pay $2,000 for a transmission on my credit card for 21%, that's being shameful in the game. You know why? That's shameful for you not have enough to cover an emergency first. You know the Louis is going to last you a certain amount of time. If you take care of it, you can pay for it over time and accept a little amount of interest. But your transmission, you need it now. Yeah. And you should have enough to take care of the same amount of your wants and the same amount in your needs. If you can't do that, then you don't have no grace in the game, and it's shameful.
Very shameful. I don't think they're ready for this level again.
How fast we shifted from relationships to money.
Yeah, that's why I really wanted to get around. I talked about relationship to be the lead in, but really it was shame around money.
Oh yeah, it's shameful. Yeah. It's shameful. You want to know? What's shameful? Some of y'all spent $200 over the weekend partying, and didn't leave $100 for healthy food during the week. Where's your budget at? You would spend $200, and you know what? You want to know what's real shameful? The shameful people are the ones that buy rounds.
Oh.
You'd spend more money on someone else's alcoholic demise than the healthy food you should be putting in your own diet. That's shameful. How much grace do you have if you don't even invest in your own health, but you will literally pour alcohol into someone else's demise?
Shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a shame. If this message is resonating with you, let me know. Let us know in the chat room right now, because we on the money, and I know the people who need to hear it are hearing it. I know it.
I've learned over the years to utilize all forms of payment. Okay, I've had Rent-A-Center. Trust me, I'll say it right here on the air. I've had Rent-A-Center. I've had Raymore and Flanagan. I've had Sears. I've had, if anybody from Jersey, I've had Carl's Appliances. I've utilized all forms. You know why? Because you never should close any door to any opportunity. But what I can tell you that I learned in the game is to always mix it up. I always have a car paid off. I always have a car on payments. And I always have a car that might be a little bit older, where I might have to put some work toward it. That might be the one that's probably going to be in the shop a little often. Mix it up. Mix up the game. You know why? Because you never know what avenue, what opportunity may present itself or cost you that would have the advantage of the other not being in place. And if you can master all three, then you can really give people advice in the game because you've shown them all your experiences. I have credit cards, I have debit cards, and then I have cash. Have all three. The debit card is to pay for what you need to pay for at the correct price without carrying the money on you. See, that's what a debit card's for. That's why you don't pay any interest. Think about it. I know this sounds basic. Some of you need to hear this. Cash. You know what cash is for? Cash is for paying for things that shouldn't be showing up in the ledger. Okay? We're not trying to hide nothing. Listen, you could go to any ATM, take your money out, right? You could go to ATM and take your money out right now. So that's nothing illegal, okay? There's a limit on it because the bank doesn't want to make sure that they have a hold on some of your money. But what you can, put things on your ledger that look notable. Because someday you're going to go down and buy that house. Someday you're going to go down and buy that car. And they're going to say, we need to see 3 months of your bank statements. Do you want to show them that you was at Joe's bar every weekend spending $100? Think about it. The bank's going to see this one day. I would rather explain ATM withdrawals. Oh, I was, getting a sandwich. Or I was having my weekly budget for food. I pay with cash. Well, I'd rather explain that to the bank with a small letter. Because if you close on the house, all you got to do to explain certain things to the underwriter, just for a little small letter. Then to see them, you use that Joe's bar, which will say entertainment and dining on your ledger. You spent half the money on your mortgage partying. Guess what? They're not going to approve your loan. They won't. And you will wonder why. Like, no. Or they'll probably just make you add more points because they know you're a little more risky. Imagine your fun, your weekly fun. You won't save up for a vacation, which they will give you credit for, but you'll save up for Joe's bar every week and mess up the opportunity to buy something significant because they can see you party too much. Why do you think they ask for bank statements? They don't ask for bank statements to see your balance. They ask to see your bank statements to see what you spend money on compared to what you deposit. So that's why you have to have cash, you have to have debit, and then you have to have credit. Credit is supposed to be used to build up your history, not for you to buy the bag. It's not for you to buy the wallet. It's not for you. You should be putting your bills on there and pay them off enough time where you don't accrue any interest.
Mm-hmm.
Show some activity so they can see you can be trustworthy with money that's not yours. That money is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
That money is lent to you, and if you keep it too long, they will charge you 21% in a year. So you're telling me if I pay my phone bill and pay it off in 30 days, the APR, which would be 21%, would be a much smaller rate because I paid it before the APR kicks in. It's shameful for you to leave your cell phone bill on the credit card for a year because you're supposed to pay it every month. Why would you pay a year's worth of interest for something that you're supposed to pay in 1 month?
Uh-oh. Somebody better catch this. We're trying to get you out of shame.
We're trying to get you to stop being shameful. Stop being shameful with your money. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Have grace and realize that I should be putting out less money for the things that make me smile and be comfortable for just a minute. You know how fast you can spend $100 on a bar?
Easily, dude. Easily. It happens so fast you wouldn't even think about it.
You can spend $100 and not even get to the drinks yet. You can pay valet.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay the coat check.
Mm-hmm.
You can get money out from, to start your little tip service. You could spend $100 before you even get to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get to the bar, they want $11 a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid you go with one of your friends. And when you go with one of your friends and then you meet somebody there, you're spending $30 a round.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 40. How far deep in the game are you going to spend? Say you get $200 in and you didn't have a budget for that. Are you going to put that on that 21% card?
Oh, hell no.
So now you're going to pay another $40 for that $200.
On top
of grace in the game, you look stupid in the game.
Dude, I kid you not. I take cash. Well, actually, I take my credit card. Not my credit card. I'll take my debit card. I don't even take, when I go out, I don't take my credit cards with me. They don't need to be there.
I don't care if you get drunk in the game. You shouldn't have your credit. That's why you shouldn't have it, because people who get drunk, they do dumb shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard someone they were at a particular place that you do particular things at, and they took money off their credit card to pay for a particular back room at events.
Come on.
They took their credit card, and she's like, "Well, I need more money." Okay.
Let me tell you something. If you can afford it, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to say is don't overpay for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you got to put that on your credit card, you overpaying for it. I talked to a bartender one time, and they were like, "Oh, get this bottle of champagne." I'm like, "Well, I know it's a bar. They're gonna overcharge you for it, whatever." She was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I said, "How much is it?" It's a bottle of Moet, the rosé. I like the rosé. I like the taste of that.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I like a bottle of champagne. I will put it on the card. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Not a credit card. I'll put it on my real money. She said to me, I told her one time, I said, "Listen, I didn't come prepared to buy a bottle of champagne today. Sorry. I know your skills. I know your sales skills, everything. But for me, it's got to be when I'm ready to do it."
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. So what if you don't have it? Just put it on a credit card." I said, "That's the problem.
There it is.
Your upsell from somebody telling you no is to put it on something that costs them 20% more than already paying 150% more. And that's wrong. Okay, I know the bottle is $50. You're gonna upsell me to $200 because that's what it costs, and now I gotta pay $240 because you don't know how to mind your business." You see what I'm saying? And some people literally succumb to that pressure. The pretty girl behind the bar just telling you what to do when you're supposed to have your own control. That's shameful.
Shameful.
That's shameful for you to get taken like that. You should be able to tell her, "Listen, I'm one of a couple of hundred people that's going to walk through this bar. You lost this sale. Get somebody else."
Yes, right. Because I'm about to be a sucker in the game. Because she's about to run some serious game.
If she would take that time on you, she would understand rebuttals, and she would understand what a no is. You can pout and you can fuss all you want. If I said no, the answer is no. If you ever want tip money at the end of the few drinks I buy, besides that, you better pull back because you're about to lose more than the return of a bottle of, champagne. You about to lose a lot more. You about to lose the little few dollars you get on a drink.
Y'all better catch this. So we didn't. This is just a tiptoe into grace in the game. This is just a tiptoe in grace in the game. That's funny. I'm looking like Run DMC over here. You got the New York hat on.
Listen, I like this subject.
Yeah.
I like this subject. You know why? Because it holds people accountable.
That's it.
It holds people accountable to all the little BS things.
It does. And we know we teach the gospel of responsibility over here. You are responsible. I didn't see people try to worm out of being responsible. Well, it was the man, it was the woman. No, it was you, Negro. It was you. It was you. It holds you responsible and accountable for your actions and the interactions that happen with others. So we're going to, and not saying that, we're going to be back tomorrow. I think we may talk about tomorrow. Some people are, you got to learn when to extend grace. Sometimes it's not expedient, it's not wise to extend grace to situations, people, whatever it may be. You got to know when to execute grace. When to execute grace in the game. You say, well, that seems diabolically against what you're talking about. No, you got to know when to execute grace. And everybody, I've got to say it, everybody don't deserve your grace.
Some of y'all give it away to the wrong people.
That's it. And then they come back. Think about the cycle that happens. They're giving away to the wrong people. They feel ashamed. And guess what happens? They start shaming others because they are ashamed because they gave it away their grace to the wrong people.
Yeah.
What's going on, Everett? Shout out to you. First time, love the group. Peace. Shout out. Appreciate you, brother. So in closing, tomorrow we are talking about grace in the game, knowing when to extend grace and knowing when not to. Giving it to the wrong people. Woo. So in that, we didn't give a number for today. I guess the number for today is what? I guess we've been in grace. I said, thank you, Jonathan the Dean. He has definitely, you know what? Let me stop the music. Stop. Let me give a shout out to Jonathan W. He has really stepped up as the dean in the thinking class. You know, let me really say that. I can't stop the music for some reason, but I want to make sure I shout out to Jonathan W. He has really stepped up. He came up with the title for the show this week, for the series this week. He stepped up when anyone comes into the chat room. I want to make sure I give you your roses today. Shout out to you. Have definitely stepped. I don't know why I called you the dean. It just came from deep. I guess it came from within the spirit and to make you call. And you have stepped up and actually been a dean in the thinking class. And I appreciate that. I know John will appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anybody come in, you show them love. Anybody who's acting crazy, I seen when you was like, you may not want to do that. I seen them do it. I seen them in action. Though that's the type of community that we build here. That's the type of community we build here. I think I'm going to end on the editor. He made a nice intro, so I'm making the outro too. You made a nice intro, so I'm gonna end with that. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Thank you, Everett Marks. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you, kind Ryan Words, Eddie. Hey man, you are greatly appreciated here, and everyone else who shows up and step up. Even y'all know behind the scenes, Tara will be messaging me, giving me some. She messaged too. A lot of people contact me behind the scenes. So I want to publicly say to you, Jonathan W., you are appreciated. Thank you for stepping up and being the dean in the thinking class. With that being said, let me find the new outro, which is the intro outro. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. And we are out. Dude, that's pretty cool, huh?
Oh yeah, looks good.
Yeah, dude. You know what's funny, man? The older gentleman in the picture. Thank you, everyone. The older gentleman in the picture was the man who prayed when Obama was swore into oath as president of the United States, and he is the man who worked with Martin Luther King to start the Southern Baptist Leadership Convention.
Wow.
Joseph Laundrie. I think I pronounced it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I sat down and I went to his birthday party when I was in Atlanta. So I didn't put up the picture of me and Ruben Stutter. You remember when we met Ruben. So it's like, so why y'all think we just LDA, thank you so much. Thank you to the editor. Please understand, when y'all give, we automatically put it back into the show. That's what you see. This is what you see. Yeah, but yeah, that Joseph Laundrie, I'm not pronouncing his name right, but he's the man who prayed when Obama was sworn to as president. And he started working with Martin Luther King. He was the man. He was the. I know we got to go, man, dude. But he has. Them older people had a mouthpiece on him, man. I don't know. I can't explain it. His mouthpiece was. He had no filter. Just put it that way.
I know a lot of older people like that.
Well, we gotta go, dude. He had a mouthpiece. That's all I'm gonna say. Shout out to him. Shout out to everybody. Peace. We out of here now.